Hello dear viewers, and welcome back to the ancient dwarven hold of our ancestors. Today I shall be talking about the game Warhammer 40,000 Inquisitor Martyr Sororitas. I have previously created two videos on Inquisitor Martyr for the base game and the Prophecy expansion. I shall link the video to the main discussion hereabouts should you want a more in-depth look at the game itself. Today I'm going to be looking at one of the DLC classes, the Adeptus Sororitas. The Adeptus Sororitas, or as I know them, the Sisters of Battle, are the military arm of the Ecclesiarchy, also known as the Adeptus Ministorum. This is essentially the religious institution of the Imperium of Man. They revere the Emperor of Mankind as a deity and preach the Imperial Creed to all. That is, that the Emperor is to be worshipped for he is the guiding light of the Imperium. Due to the Ecclesiarchy being rather naughty a few thousand years before current time, lots of persecuting and terrible acts in the Emperor's name, they were not allowed to have any kind of men-at-arms or military force. But as you can see, there was a loophole in that they could not have men-at-arms, but it doesn't mention anything about women, so the Sisters of Battle were born. This is an all-woman force raised from birth to venerate and indeed worship the Emperor as a celestial deity and believe their faith in him grants them righteous power and a will steeled against evil. In the Sororitas DLC then, it allows you to take on the role of one of these mighty Sisters of Battle, and it is quite an interesting one. As with everything else in this game, this class feels very faithful to the source material in both their look and their mechanics. The DLC consists of the class itself only, and no actual additional content. I mentioned earlier, but I did do a video on the main expansion, Prophecy, which adds to the main campaign, and I'll link that one hereabouts. The Sisters make use of similar weapons of the Imperium, with bolt guns, chain swords, even plasma guns and such, but they have a very thematic use of the Flamer. In this universe, they make use of the Holy Flamer to purge the heretics with righteous flame. When you first select the class, you can choose from three basic loadouts of the Bolter, Bolt Gun and Chainsword, and said Flamer. As is usual, this is just the starting loadout and you can very quickly change weapons should you want to. You can elect to go through the campaign with your Sister of Battle, should you wish, or skip it and go to the post-campaign stuff. I like doing campaigns and doing the story, so I decided to go through it again. I can kind of learn how to play the class easier that way and get to grips with things. As you might imagine, the main mechanic and indeed resource is your sister's faith. This builds up in different ways depending on what faith perk you have equipped. When you reach maximum faith, you can become a living saint through apotheosis, granting you new powerful abilities that last until your faith meter is drained. You are very powerful in this form, and with your new empowered abilities, you can cause mass destruction of the Emperor's foes. Besides this, the Sister of Battle can use Acts of Faith, which are essentially spells or cooldowns that are powered by faith in the Emperor rather than through the warp. They tend to be more utility and defensive minded, but there are some powerful offensive abilities, like that of taking the aura of immolation, burning yourself but also anyone silly enough to get too close to you. In combat, this class can have quite a mix of weaponry, but seems to mostly focus in mid to close range combat without the use of any kind of heavy firepower. Earlier on, I thought they could use simply a flamer, bolt gun or chainsword and pistol, but the Sisters have access to a lot more than this. They can make use of different pistols with different one-handed weapons, like a maul, a rod or a holy blade, which can grant faith slots. Besides this, you can use more standard Imperial weaponry like the aforementioned bolter, plasma guns and melter guns. On top of this, they can also make use of some heavy duty weapons like a power maul, a power halberd, great power sword and a two-handed eviscerator. So there is a lot of diversity in the weapon loadouts that you can use with a Battle Sister. A whole host of different builds for you to try, which I think is great. Each of the different weapons and their combinations have unique skills. I particularly like the pistol chainsword combo where the Sister spins around flying and swinging at everything that gets nearby. The melee weapons I also enjoy too, swinging around like a nutter with righteous vengeance in the name of the Emperor. I decided to really lean into the flamethrower though, as it is a rather iconic weapon for the Sisters of Battle, and I hadn't really used it so far in my playing of Inquisitor Martyr. The class gets a few unique skill trees to invest points in, which is nice. This includes one for banners, which are a class-specific trinket, as well as one for faith-based abilities. Besides this, there are additional perks for you to make use of, which are tailored for the Battle Sisters' skills and abilities. When you're fighting the enemies of the Imperium, being a Sister of Battle feels rather unique, which is exactly what you're looking for with an additional class added to the game. I would be running about, burning heresy out with a flamer, which has 4 different abilities, besides the standard cone-shaped bathing of fire, which is really great. It can overheat though, so I'd have a second loadout of a kind, whatever I fancied trying at the time, like a pistol and a melee weapon combo, or a 2-handed weapon of some sort. It really does feel like you're playing the role of this class here. The developers could have thrown out a generic kind of class here with some flamers, but they have clearly put a lot of effort into the Sororitas class, which I think is really great. I would say I enjoyed it a lot more than the Tech Adepts, though I'm not really one for summoner classes, so I wasn't ever going to get on with that one too well. In terms of whether I think you should try out this class, I would say yes, definitely. There is so much variety going on here that I'm sure any Inquisitor player would find something they could enjoy. Therefore, if you are an enjoyer of this game, I would thoroughly recommend the Sororitas class to have more fun with Inquisitor Martyr. The campaign was good fun to play through yet another time, but if you don't want to do that, you can skip it all and get onto the other in-game stuff that is available in the game. I do really enjoy this game, and I hope that we might see a sequel one day by Neocore, as they have shown that they really care about the source material and creating a great game to play at the same time. These are the same guys that did the Van Helsing games, which are also great fun, so check out my video on that if you haven't. This is an all-round great ARPG in my opinion, and that is even more fun if you're into the Warhammer 40,000 universe. The class is currently £12.79 on Steam. It is a little steep at that price perhaps, but as I enjoy the game so much, I just wanted to try it out. Inquisitor Martyr is getting on now though, so I imagine in incoming sales they will go at a reduced rate. And there we go, dear viewers, another video from me here down in the Ancient Hold. I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you are well. If you like what this old dwarf does down here in the Ancient Hold, then please consider subscribing to the channel, leaving a thumbs up and perhaps leave your own thoughts on the Adeptus Sororitas. Thank you for watching and I shall see you next time.